Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy K Breezy here. I hope that all of you watching this are having a nice day. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over and breaking down the best overall settings that you need to be using in Warzone to just put the opposition on a shirt. So with that being said, if you're excited to make the enemies rage while you just eat up like a lion that just came out the cage, be sure to let me know down below by clicking that like button. And while you're at it, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because then you don't have to worry about missing out on some of the latest Call of Duty news or a post from this channel. So the first thing that you're going to actually want to change is the way that you pick up items or use items in this game. Now by default you have to tap to hold item, and this makes the game go much slower because you have to hold and wait like maybe a second to pick up some ammo or pick up grenades or something like that. But by changing this one setting, it makes it so that you can pick up items just by tapping them, much like the same way that you could in Blackout. But what you want to do is head into your controller tab, then scroll down until you see the reload/behavior, and then scroll over to the right until you see the contextual tap button. What this does is make it so that whenever you're near an item, you can just press square or Y to pick up the item, and if you're just reloading, you can just tap reload as well or hold reload, and it'll just determine which one needs to be used depending on the radius, with emphasis being placed on use first. Now the next setting that you're going to want to change is a bit controversial, but this is something that you're going to want to change if you want to just take your gameplay to that next level. And this is going to be the controller vibration option, because almost no pro player has controller vibration on, because while it does feel pretty good in your hands, it's not really good for you from a competitive standpoint, because if you look at it like this from all the way over here, you're basically holding a controller while it's shaking slightly in your hand, where you're trying to get those pristine shots on somebody with a sniper rifle. It just or an AR, but the point is, it makes it much harder for you to aim because the object that you're trying to aim with is literally shaking in your hands. And I noticed that once I turned this controller vibration off, that my hands weren't sweating as bad, and I didn't have to wipe them like every 30 minutes because the controller was shaking in my hand and was making my hands sweat. You're definitely going to notice a boost in your aim. Now this next setting is something that a lot of people have been sleeping on, and I've been trying to put everybody that I can on this setting because it replaces the need for a scuff controller or to even play clock. But what you're going to want to do is change your controller button layout to button jumper tactical. And what this does is it swaps your melee and crouch buttons, and also swaps your jump and tactical buttons, which makes it so that you don't have to take your thumb off of the analog sticks to do most major things you're going to do in the game. This allows you to jump shot like how you would previously, or to drop shot, and because of this, it makes you much more of an overall versatile player. I've been using this button layout since Modern Warfare came out, and I can definitely say that even though it took a little bit to learn, it was definitely worth it, because I'm able to hit those jump shots around corners and just catch enemies completely off guard. And while jump shotting or drop shotting may not be quite as effective as it was in previous titles in the series, it's still something really good to have up your sleeve whenever you need it. Now this fourth setting is really just to ease the strain on your psyche and what you need to be focusing on during the game, and also ease the strain on your controller a little bit. But what I'm talking about is having the automatic sprint enabled, and what it does is in the name, because by default your character will sprint whenever you move your left analog stick forward. To do this, all you need to do is go over to your controller settings and head all the way down until you see auto sprint, and move over to the right until you have auto tactical sprint enabled, or just regular sprint if that floats your boat. But I went ahead and had auto tactical sprint enabled, and what this does is whenever you move your left analog stick forward, it's going to first try to do the tactical sprint if you have one available, then it's just going to sprint. And all you have to do if you don't want to sprint is just not move it all the way forward. This is really useful, and it makes it so that I don't have to just keep button mashing my controller whenever I want to sprint. And for the fifth setting that you're going to want to change, this does hinder somewhat the aesthetic of the game, but the game is still going to look great regardless. But you're going to want to turn off that world motion blur and weapon motion blur, because you can get enemies lost in sauce whenever you turn too fast, because the way colors are in this game, operator skins and the environment kind of do blend really well, I guess because they're trying to go for that more lifelike experience. But just go over to the general tab and scroll down until you reach the accessibility section, and look for world blur and weapon motion blur, and make sure that you turn both of those off. And don't worry, because the game is still going to look amazing But now you don't have to worry about losing those enemies whenever you turn too fast and just missing them because they blended right into that building that they were standing beside. But with that, guys, basically covers all the major settings that you need to change in Warzone in order to optimize your gameplay. I mean, these are some settings that, a lot of the pros that I watch personally use, like Sparrows or No J456, Swag, all of them. These are some of the settings that they use to pop off, and it's because it just makes the game go that much more smoother, and it takes away those things that are really hindering you. A few of these settings may have a little bit of a learning curve to them, like the controller settings or the motion blur settings, vibration, things like that. But it's going to be worth it in the end, because in the long run, you're going to be a much better player and not have those little bitty things just messing up your gameplay, and it's going to be worth it. But for some of these settings, you're going to notice the benefits right away, like the contextual tap feature that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And since this whole video is about settings, what setting would you add or take away in Modern Warfare? For me personally, I would add the field of view setting, because this is something that PC players have access to, and while it's not completely broken, the fact that I can see more of the map at once is kind of, like I said, not broken, but it helps me out a lot and allows me to be more efficient on the battlefield. And honestly, I just don't feel like that's too much to ask for. Also, one more thing before I go is I would like to let you guys know I have made another settings video that I should be putting the card up right now if I'm paying attention. But I've also made another video which goes much more into depth about the overall settings you want to use within the entire game. Should be having a link or a card up above here. Be sure to check that out if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because then you don't have to worry about missing out on some of the latest Call of Duty news or a post from this channel. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, because that really helps me out and lets me know what kind of videos that you guys like to watch. Also, be sure to comment down below what video do you guys want to see next, or just any video ideas that you guys have in general. But thank you guys again so much for watching, and as always, it's your boy KB, signing off. Peace.